First, though, as the Duchess of Sussex continues to dominate the news following her bombshell interview this week, we're asking if America is falling out of love with Meghan. It follows headlines like this, which made the front page of the New York Post. Ross King is live in LA. Good morning, Ross. Have you noticed a shift, Ross? What is the public's response to Meghan right now?
Yeah, good morning, Christine. Yeah, I definitely have noticed a shift out here. And I think a lot of that has to do with the timing of all the things that we've been hearing. You know, a lot of the news programs and the entertainment shows here were all about, you know, sadly, the 25th anniversary of Diana's passing. And there was so much there about, you know, how much joy she brought to the world, her fashion. You know, they were covering absolutely everything. And then, of course, along came the Meghan podcast. So I think people were going, really, what was Meghan hoping to achieve with this? Now, certainly from her employer's point of view, what she was hoping to achieve was that the podcast would do well. And it has been the #1 podcast out here. But I think a lot of people asking questions, you know, you brought it up there, Christine, that front page. And in the past, there hasn't really been a lot of negative press, I would say, for Meghan out here because, of course, you know, she is, to all intents and purposes, their princess. But I got the feeling this time, and certainly in terms of the TV shows and the media coverage here, you can certainly see that they're not that happy with her, I would say. So definitely I can see a change in tone here.
Yeah, I think it is. It's the tone, isn't it? And I think when someone's sitting in a huge home over there but having any form of moan at all, it doesn't sit well with everyone else who's struggling.
Yeah, I think that's it. It's like read the room, isn't it? Plus, you know, we had that remark about Nelson Mandela. And now, of course, we're seeing lots of interviews coming out, and we're seeing that Dr. John Carney, who was the South African member of the cast, he says that he was the only South African member of the Lion King cast, and she didn't speak to him, he didn't speak to her, he didn't say what was alleged to have been said by a South African member of the cast, and he said he was the only one. So now, you know, again, with that as well, if you're going to say something like that, surely you know what reaction that is going to get. And you know that people are going to dig and then say, well, who was it that said it? What exactly did they say? So again, I think it's just the whole tone of it all and people going, you know, why say those things? And especially at this time. And, you know, the effect that it will also have, you know, on the boys as well, and Harry and William, because, you know, such a, you know, a sad time for them when, again, you know, they're seeing these photographs and all these stories about their mum all over the place. So it just seems insensitive. It's just, I think one big thing, as I said before, Christine, is the timing is all wrong, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, joining us now is Daily Mirror editor Alison Phillips. I mean, Alison, what do you make of where Meghan's stance is right now with the general public and her popularity?
I mean, I think in this country, her popularity sort of was starting to wane sort of a good year ago, or when they first left the country. I do also think, though, we've slightly got into a situation where it just feels everything around Meghan and Harry has become incredibly negative conversation, which seems quite sad as well, in that, I mean, some of the things that she said, I mean, at best, you know, maybe they're exaggerated, but I think now there is such sort of focus on every single sentence that she says, picking holes in it, trying to tear it apart, that it does feel it's a real sort of negative connotations. And I kind of think the best thing we can do is perhaps just let them stay in the States, making podcasts that I imagine the first one does quite well, and after a while, as with all things, it'll drop off a bit and everyone will get a bit, and then maybe they will have that sort of greater privacy that they claim they wanted, and then they'll be able to see quite how much they like that then.
Because they have this huge platform to do good, and it's just unfortunate that it seems to every single time there's this massive negative kind of conversation off the back of every single piece.
It is, but it's almost like we've got into one of those sort of negative relationship spirals with Meghan and Harry, and that even when they are doing good things, or whenever they're trying to do good things, I think then the knee-jerk reaction of both now in the States and here is to sort of feel negative about them. And it just feels... And I thought it was so sad this week. I was watching the footage of Diana's funeral, and that shot where you see Prince Harry, such a young boy, walking behind the coffin. It was heartbreaking, and I think for so long we all had him and we all worried about him and we were all so protective of him, And I think we have to remember that in this sort of battle between the public and Meghan, you've got Harry, who has clearly made mistakes himself as well. Don't get me wrong, he absolutely has. And she's made mistakes. And so, but it just feels terribly sad that it's come to this.
I know, I agree. Sort of sticking with royal news, the Queen is all over the front pages again today. Alison, a lot of worries just about how she's doing, really, and now that the new Prime Minister will be meeting her at Balmoral. That's a big change and a big shift in protocol, isn't it?
It is, but I mean, sometimes, you know, she's 96. I mean, sometimes we should think, gosh, isn't she amazing for 96
exactly,
that she's even, you know, getting
bothered.
up and going. I know, and yes, it is a change in protocol because ordinarily she would have come down to London, but then again, she's always at Balmoral at this time of year, and really, you know, if it was me, would I want to break my holiday to come down and see Boris Johnson go, the man who lied to her about proroguing Parliament, and then the next day to have to come and see, presumably, Liz Truss? So, you know, if they're prepared to fly up to her, I think probably that's the option I'd have taken. But I think we will see pictures of her at the start of next week with Boris Johnson and Liz Truss or Rishi Sunak. And I think we will probably see her looking quite well, but we just all have to accept she's going to be doing things on her own terms from now on.
Yeah, and like you say, it is easy to forget that she is 96 and she always has this incredibly busy diary, and this has now sort of cropped up, as it were. So we do have to excuse that, but it's very intense. Like, she has to be so involved in everything.
She does, and she still reads all her papers, and she still has an active relationship with her prime ministers, which is why I think she wants them there in person rather than over Zoom or whatever.
Yeah, it's interesting times, isn't it, Prime Minister?
It will be next week.
So you're thinking Liz?
I think it's going to be Liz. I mean, all the polls would look like it's going to be Liz Truss, so we'll see what she's...
Well, we need something to happen quickly. We need someone to start taking charge and in some way leading this crisis.
Terrible. I mean, the fear, the abject fear people are in at the moment about how to pay their bills. People are going to see all their savings completely destroyed, and we've had no support, no help, no guidance. If it is her, she needs to be on top of her game from day one.
Too right. She has a lot of work to do, if it is her, like we say. Alison, thank you so much, as always.
Don't forget, you can watch full episodes of Lorraine on the ITV Hub and all the best clips, compilations and playlists right here on our channel. Just subscribe now and you'll never miss an upload. Click here to watch another video similar to this one, or click here to head to our channel's homepage to explore all of our exciting videos.